It's hardly news that males and females are different.
But besides making our lives a whole lot more interesting, these differences make it possible for us to produce the different kinds of sex cells, eggs and sperm.
In males, the reproductive system is made up of a pair of testes, a variety of tubes called ducts, several glands, the penis, and the scrotum. Let's start with the testes. The testes produce sperm and male sex hormones such as testosterone. The sex hormones maintain the male's physical build: wide shoulders, narrow waist, tall stature. These hormones are also necessary for sperm to be produced.
The testes are in a patch of skin outside the core of the body called the scrotum. The testes don't function well at body temperature. In the scrotum, the testes are kept several degrees cooler, the ideal temperature for sperm production.
When we look inside the testes, we see tiny coiled tubes. Sperm are produced inside these tubes. Cells that line the tubes divide to form the sex cells. These cells go through a series of changes that create the sperm.
Inside the head of each sperm is the material that contains the genetic information that a man contributes to the development of a new human. This genetic information ensures that a child will have some of the characteristics of his or her father.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The likelihood of any one particular sperm doing this is really small. In his early teens, a male starts producing millions of sperm every day. This continues throughout adulthood. While inside the male's body, sperm can live about 2 months. When the sperm are formed, they're pushed out of the testes into an area called the epididymis that's on the top of each testis. The epididymis is both a nursery where the sperm mature and a waiting area where they stay until they're needed.
Like the testes and scrotum, the penis is outside the core of the body. The penis has 3 columns of spongy tissue. When a guy is sexually excited, blood fills this tissue and makes the penis erect.
If he's excited enough, sperm leave the epididymis and travel through the sperm ducts. Secretions from several glands are added along the way. Together, the secretions and sperm are called semen.
Semen is pushed from the sperm ducts and into the urethra, which runs out of the body through the penis. The release of semen from the body is called ejaculation.
Ejaculation doesn't just happen as a result of having sex. Most teenage boys have had the experience of waking up in the morning to wet and sticky sheets, the result of a nocturnal emission or wet dream. This might cause some embarrassment, but it's totally natural and normal.
That wraps up an overview of the male reproductive system, one half of the partnership necessary for human reproduction to occur. Now we'll look at the other half. Most of the female reproductive system lies deep inside the pelvis. There are a pair of ovaries and a pair of fallopian tubes, which are connected to the uterus, which is about the size of a pear. At the base of the uterus is a very strong muscle called the cervix. The cervix is at the top of the vagina, which opens to the outside of the body. The vulva is the external part of the female reproductive system. It includes the major and minor lips, the openings of the urethra and vagina, and the clitoris. Like the penis in a male, the clitoris has many nerve endings that make it very sensitive to touch.
Just as the testes in a male produce sperm and hormones, the female's 2 ovaries produce eggs and sex hormones, such as estrogen. When a girl reaches puberty, these hormones cause some major changes in her body. Breasts develop, hips get broader. Her hormones also control the production of mature eggs in pregnancy.
An egg contains the genetic information that a woman contributes to the development of a new human being. Each ovary contains hundreds of eggs. Unlike males who produce new sex cells their whole lives, females are born with all of the eggs they will have.
A hormone from the brain stimulates an immature egg to begin to develop. It also stimulates the lining of the uterus to become thicker. About every 28 days, hormones trigger the release of a mature egg from one of the ovaries.
Tiny, finger-like projections on a fallopian tube beat and draw the egg in. The egg travels through the fallopian tube. If it doesn't run into a sperm, it continues into the uterus. Inside the uterus, the egg disintegrates and the signal "no pregnancy" goes out. This triggers the breakdown of the lining of the uterus. The blood and cell debris leave the body. This is called menstruation.
Okay, we've looked at the female and male reproductive systems that make it possible for humans to reproduce.
Now we'll look at how those systems work together and the events that lead to a new human life.